After coming from our last mission for the day, we were told in advance by Slenderman to be prepared for when we came back from it. Apparently, he had some very important news to tell us. What do you guys think Slenderman wants to tell us? Maybe he's tired of us and is gonna fire us for it? Masky sarcastically says, laughing at his own joke. I roll my eyes as Hoodie sighs and replies, well, the master did say it was something extremely important, and by the looks of it, he seemed very concerned. If that's even possible, really. Masky scoffed. Slenderman? Concerned? It must be something really bad then, if he's worried. Maybe he's just truly sad that he has to let us go. Hoodie quickly replied, seriously, dude, it's not something to take as a joke. If Slenderman heard you, he'd probably end you right now for being an idiot. Just as Masky was going to say something, I interrupted. I think Hoodie's right. It's not a smart idea to joke around about this right now. Who asked you, stuttering freak? I could really care less what the master has to say. It's probably just something that concerns him. As usual, he wants us to clean up his mess. Masky says to me in return. I glared at him and replied, well, he wouldn't seem so worried if it were just his problem, would he? I mean, you don't know what it really could be. What if it really does concern us too? Before he could reply, we began to hear static as Slenderman appeared before our eyes. Soon enough, he began to speak through our minds. I have something of much more significance to announce to you all, rather than this petty discussion you all are having. We are facing something extremely complex. There's a boy with a carved smile. You should have heard of him. Jeffrey Woods, also known as Jeff the Killer. Bring him to me. I need that boy. He has an overhuman ability, which can be used for our advantage. We can use him to help us cleanse this world from these pathetic humans. If we cannot use him and make him a proxy, there is a chance of destruction to occur, including for us. That is because he will be the one to allow him to rise. He is a true evil in itself, much more evil and powerful than myself. If Jeff lets him rise, it is over, not only for humans, but for us as well. You will become his slaves, and he will treat you much, much worse than me. He will have control and all the power. All evil shall rise with him. Jeff is the key for him to rise. He who hides behind the wall. Zalgo. He comes. Now, go and look for him, my proxies. Yes, master, we will. All at once we replied. Not a second later, Slenderman was gone. This was a lot to take in. I can tell that it was the same for Masky and Hoodie, as they too stayed in complete utter silence for a long time. I've heard of Jeff the Killer, and someone knew about his background. It's mainly thanks to Slenderman's past encounter with him that he told us about. Apparently, he and Jeff had fought in a blood-inducing battle. Just as Slenderman was going to end his life, Jeff had accidentally started a fire which had caused Slenderman to flee, leaving Jeff there to burn. Seems like he survived though, somehow, seeing as Slenderman wants us to not find this guy somehow. As I was in thought, Masky soon exclaimed, Gee, Slenderman sure fucked up not killing that smiling freak when he had the chance. Now Jeff's gonna be the reason of the end of this world. I don't see why Slenderman just doesn't let us kill him ourselves when we find him. Hoodie looked over to Masky, who was now pacing around frantically, and replied, Whatever it is that the master wants us to do, we have no option but to comply. You heard why he wants Jeff with us. He finds potential in the boy, which can benefit us as proxies. If we don't get him, we're at a loss, as he'll therefore serve Zalgo instead of us. Now, I knew who Jeff was, but I wasn't exactly sure about Zalgo. Who is this Zalgo guy anyway? I asked. Masky facepalmed before responding. How do you not know who Zalgo is? Didn't Slenderman just explain it clear enough a while ago? Why does Slenderman make us have a dumbass in command? Hoodie shook his head at Masky, who had his hands up looking towards the sky dramatically, and turned to me to speak. Look, Toby, just like Slenderman, we don't know exactly what Zalgo is or where he originated, but we do know that he is some form of demon that is also pure evil. He's known to have 7 mouths, 6 which can speak different tongues. The 7th, well, that's for when he rises on earth, where he'll then sing a song that will cause nothing but pain and destruction. The end of the world. That's all you need to know about him for the moment. Now, we should start looking for Jeff. The longer we wait, the more likely that we'll be too late. Hearing this, I said to him, "You're right. It's not going to be very easy to find Jeff, though. But it shouldn't be too hard for us, either. As long as Slenderman helps us and we follow the clues that lead to Jeff, let's go for it." We all began to head out and search for any signs that could lead us to where Jeff was. Moments later, it had been hours and still no indication of where Jeff could be. Masky began to grow irritated as he snarled and complained. "Shit! We've been at this for hours and still no sign where this fucker is. It's like we're just walking in circles." I then said to him, "We knew from the start this wasn't going to be an easy task. Maybe tomorrow we can keep looking and we still find no clues of his whereabouts for the next few hours." Masky scoffed at my response and sarcastically stated, "Oh, sure thing, Tobes. Let's just waltz over to Slendy. Tell him he couldn't find shit. Hope he'll forgive us and makes us a tea party. Then have him slice our heads off with his magical tentacles. Sounds like the perfect plan, dipshit." I sighed heavily and said, "Well, I don't see you coming up with any better ideas either, Tim." Just before Masky replied, we were all engulfed by static through our minds as Slenderman spoke. "What a pity. You all are disappointing me greatly at this moment. I will help you find this boy, but due to the time that you all have already wasted, it may already be too late by then. If so, then all of you will definitely pay." Suddenly, we began to see a house that was not far from us within our minds, which was a vision likely caused by Slenderman. Then in a flash of a second, we saw a figure covered in blood holding a knife. That must be Jeff. Already knowing where he was located, and wasting no time, we headed towards Jeff the Killer. Once we got there, we spotted the old wooden house we'd seen in our heads. Screams and cries were protruding from them, likely belonging to Jeff's victims. We quietly snuck inside through the opened window that Jeff might have used to get in himself. We followed the screams that were now slowly dying, and then heard Jeff exclaim, "Go to sleep!" I opened the window to find blood splattered all over the walls and the floor of the room. Lying there were 2 corpses of an old couple, full of stab wounds and gashes on their bodies. We then looked up to face their murderer, who slowly turned around to look at all of us too. Jeff's point of view. Sneaking into this old house was a piece of cake. I wonder what idiots will leave their windows unlocked. I thought to myself as I checked around the house in search of new people to put to sleep, permanently. When I got to the room at the end of the hallway, I noticed an old couple sound asleep. It's too bad I'd have to interrupt their pleasant dreams. Well, who gives a fuck? I sure as hell don't. With each step, I began to get closer to their bed, until one of them started waking up. It was the old woman, and when she saw me, she started to scream. Why does everyone scream? Don't they think I'm beautiful? This angered me to the core, and her screams had also woken up the old man beside her. Damn it. I was hoping to take my time killing her. Oh well. I slowly whispered to her, loud enough for both of them to hear. Go to sleep. I then lifted my knife and jammed it into her screaming mouth to shut her up. I repeated this countless times until I noticed the old man trying to reach for something. A pistol? Nice try, old man. But you can't hurt me, I told him menacingly. His trembling hand dropped the pistol as I practically stared deep into his soul. I then lunged at him and sliced his stomach, causing his insides to slip out. Go to sleep! I yelled out once more to the bloody bodies lying before me. I went on slashing at him even after he was long dead. I enjoyed watching the blood pour out from my victims, though it never satisfies me for long. I need to spill more of it. More blood and death. I stopped my thoughts as soon as I heard multiple steps from behind me. I slowly turned around and noticed 3 guys with some form of masks covering their faces. although one of them had goggles and mouthguard. How did I not see them earlier? They might have snuck in or something. Well, who gives a fuck? All I can think of right now is the sight of more blood on my knife. Without giving it much thought, I went over to the twitching kid for my next kill. Back to Ticci Toby's point of view. Out of the blue, he ran and pounced on me. Before I knew it, he had plunged his knife deep into my shoulder. Just as he was about to stab me in the heart, Hoodie and Masky grabbed him from each side, pulling him away from me. Jeff looked astonished and yet furious when he noticed that I slowly began to heal from what he'd stabbed me. "How did you do that?" Jeff asked me. I only smirked behind my mouthguard, not giving him a response, which seemed to anger him more. As Slenderman's proxies, we have the ability to heal after serious injuries, but I didn't want to reveal that information to Jeff just yet. He again spat. "Tell me, how the fuck did you do that? Do I have to shove my knife down your throat to get you to tell me?" I remained silent, not telling him what he wanted to hear. After a few seconds, Hoodie spoke before things escalated. "We're not here for a fight, Jeff. Our master wants to have a word with you." As I got up from where I'd been pushed, I noticed Jeff's lidless eyes open wider and then scrunch up in confusion. As he did so, he replied, "Ha! Your master? What are you all, some obedient pets or something? Who is this guy and what the hell does he want me for?" Masky snarled at Jeff and said, "I guess you can call it that way. At least I don't have a sad, self-inflicted looking smile on my face. Didn't seem to do very much to help improvise your face." Jeff glared at Masky as he lifted his knife, aiming closely towards his throat, growling at him. "Don't fuck with me. I can kill all your sorry asses right now if I really wanted to. Now answer my question, dickface." Masky began to laugh hysterically, and I could tell it was angering Jeff more by the second. As his laughing slowed, Masky answered to Jeff, "I find it funny how your attempts of looking mad are, seeing as you have the Joker smile printed across your face. Who did it for you? A 5-year-old? Visibly becoming more pissed than before, Jeff growled, "Well, I guess you can't say much, little Miss Bitch, seeing as the mask you're wearing doesn't help to distinguish what fucking gender you are. I'd suggest you do a smart thing for once and shut the hell up, 'cause I'm this close to shoving my knife up your ass. Now, I'm gonna say it one more time. Answer my motherfucking question." Before either of them could react again, me fearing the worst, I answered, "That we cannot answer fully for now. We're just following orders, and you're coming with us." We quickly moved on to our backup plan. Masky punched Jeff's hand away, causing him to drop his knife while he was distracted by me. Hoodie and I ran over to Jeff, and Hoodie tackled him as I took out one of my hatchets and swung it at his head, using the backside of it, knocking him out in the process. Hoodie lifted Jeff's unconscious body over his shoulder, and we began to make our way back. We took turns carrying Jeff until we finally arrived at the house. We started to hear static, and before us, Slenderman appeared and spoke. "I see you were all able to bring him here. Well done." Just before he could continue to speak, Jeff suddenly started to regain his consciousness. You woke up at a perfect time," Slenderman said. Jeff immediately got up to his feet and replied, "So, you're the one who wanted to see me? Ha! Didn't think you'd miss me so soon." Jeff soon began to agonize in pain to the floor, which was most likely caused by Slenderman. "Do not test my patience. I will not put up with you, Jeffrey. I have no time for it, and you will pay with your life if you keep up this cocky act. Do I make myself clear?" Slenderman warned him. Jeff only glared at him and stayed silent, but then made a quick nod right after. Slenderman then continued. "Good. Now, moving on to the important subject, I have an offer to make to you." Jeff looked confused, but that confusion soon turned into curiosity as he asked, "What kind of offer are we talking about here?" Slenderman went on, "I am willing to give you the opportunity to become a proxy. You can work alongside Hoodie, Masky, and Toby, and kill as much as you please. Also, you will be able to heal from any injuries you may get, along with an increase in your strength. Jeff appeared a bit taken aback at first. He remained silent before replying. So, you need my help? Is that so? Now I see how that stuttering kid was able to heal himself like nothing after I stabbed him. Well, let's see. What if I say no? Raising his voice, Slenderman answered, If you do not wish to accept my offer, then you will definitely die. I expected him to get a worried reaction out of Jeff in a way, but instead, he just laughed and went on. No. You see, you can't kill me, tall man. I'm already immortal. I can kill for as long as I want, and heal myself if I need to. Slenderman growled, and with one of his tendrils, he pierced through Jeff's chest, lifting him up several feet off the floor to meet his gaze. With his other tendrils, he repeated the same process with each of his limbs, ending it through his throat. Jeff began to agonize and bleed out an immense amount of blood as Slenderman dropped him to the floor. In no time, though, Jeff indeed started to slowly heal from the severe wounds that Slenderman had inflicted on him. He began to burst out laughing and stood up to his feet to speak. I told you, didn't I? You can't kill me, smartass. How the hell did you manage to become immortal? From my understanding, you were anything but that, Masky hissed. In turn, Jeff spoke. It's all thanks to my master, of course. He offered me immortality, and in turn, I'd serve him and put every fucker that I feel like to sleep. Hoping it wasn't what I had in mind, I asked, Your master? Jeff turned his gaze over to me. Oh yes, my master. He who hides behind the walls. Zalgo. With this realization, I had no idea how to react. Hoodie, on the other hand, spoke up. We're too late. He'll rise soon. It'll be the end of the world. Slenderman raised his voice. Not if we stop him. Very well, Jeffrey. If you want a war, along with your newfound master, a war you shall have. You will not win. I will certainly make sure of that. You will regret your choice. You good-for-nothing imbecile. And now, no need to get so mad, Mr. Slenderstick. After all, it's pretty fucking obvious who's at a disadvantage here. So long, suckers, said as he turned for the door. We will meet again, Jeffrey, and when we do, it will be the end of you. Slenderman threatened Jeff, which didn't seem to faze him at all. Oh, I'm sure we will, but it's not my end you're gonna see. Those were the last sentences he said before leaving the house. We all stayed in silence for a moment until Slenderman broke it. This is extremely serious, as this mission has failed completely. If we do not plan our strategies carefully to prepare for the war, it is over for the three of you, and you don't want to find out what happens if you manage to fail me again. Zalgo will come soon, very soon. Not only because Jeff said so. He was simply a reassurance that my senses were unfortunately correct. I need to warn all the others and gather them up to prepare for the battle. We are going to need as much backup as we can find. Meanwhile, I expect you three to train harder than usual. Do not fail me again, or I'll make you wish you never existed. Before we could reply, he vanished out of our sight. After that, we began to plan out how differently our trainings would go for the time being.